Well, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Um, if you're new here, my name is Skye. I am a fantasy author who typically writes short paranormal romance stories under the name Kota Hegyes. My debut series, Sultry Solstices. I've got a QR code in that corner if you want to check it out. Book 5 released last Tuesday. So I've only got 2 more stories in that series left before it is complete. And then I also write longer fantasy works of all genres, all subgenres, under the name um, SD Higgis. So, welcome to my channel if you're new, and if you're not, welcome back. We're going to be doing some productivity sprints tonight. It's been a heck of a week. It was my first full week as night auditor this week. For those who don't know, I got a new job in June, and I've been working all kinds of crazy shifts. Sometimes the morning shift that is um, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sometimes I've been working the evening shift that's 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then the night audit shift, which is the shift I've originally wanted and now have full time, is 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I have been working all week. Sorry, that was a mosquito. It's still flying around because I missed. So I've been working all week, and I had today off, or I have tonight off, I should say. But I've been awake all day, except for a short nap when we got home, and I have a major headache I am trying to disperse of. So that's fun. But I'm doing all the things, I'm getting things done, and so we're going to do some productivity sprints tonight. And yeah, I think that about wraps it up of what is going on. I should be working on the seventh and final story in the Sultry Solstices series because I need to finish it by next Thursday, I think, the 27th, whichever day that is. I think it's next Thursday. Yes, next Thursday, in order to get it sent off to beta readers so that I can get stuff uploaded on time for release dates. But because I have a headache and because I ran into another problem, I will not be doing that tonight. Instead, what I'll be doing is fixing the other problem. So I'm using my desktop right now, which is usually my gaming computer for live streams. I've been doing that for live streams. I also have a Mac, which is what I use for all of my writing, and I take a tablet with me to work. However, I have Scrivener on both the tablet and my Mac. And usually it's great because I can work on projects at home on my laptop, leave my laptop at home, take my tablet to work, and work on projects on the tablet. Except for in order for that to work, you have to close said projects on either device and make sure it syncs to Dropbox. I failed to do that, and so the project I've been working on off and on all week here and there is not synced correctly, and I need to figure out if I've lost any files. So that's what I'm going to be working on during the first sprint, maybe the first couple of sprints, is making sure that I haven't lost any stuff I've been working on, because I have been working on stuff here and there across 2 different projects. So that's fun. What about y'all? What have y'all been up to? Let's see who else here in the comments and check out what you guys are working on tonight. Let's see. Laura is here. Hello, woot woot. Working on drafting a SID. If I remember right, that stands for a study in demonology. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kay is also here. Hello, just here to do some reading and hopefully get back to sleep. The dog woke me up with a thunderstorm and is currently trying to be a 65-pound black dog. I know that feeling. My pepperoni is laying right here, and I imagine at some point the other one will join me too. So that's fun. Jess is here. Hello. Hi, beautiful. Welcome back. Been a long time since I've seen your face around here. Lovely to have you. Kay, I hope you get back to sleep, by the way. I meant to say that. Hopefully, I am lucky in the fact that as long as the dogs are able to sleep with us, they actually sleep pretty good during thunderstorms. It's been fantastic. So hopefully you're able to get some sleep in, and we're happy to have you join us until then. Laura says I'm at 16,294 words of the draft. Want to hit 17,000 tonight. We can certainly get you that goal. That's a little less. That's less than 800 words. Hold on, let me math because that's a lot less than 800 words. Nope, that's not right. 16 to 706 words. Okay, there we go. She's cranky. It gave me 76 first because I missed a number somewhere. Sleep is for the weak. Just kidding. I have a feeling that the headache will not go away until I go to bed. So we're going to do 4 sprints and then I will be going to bed. 706 words, yeah. Okay, says, well, he was sleeping with us, and when it started to thunder, he always seems to have an eyeball seeking nose to wake me all up. Oh, that's. Laura, sleep is for the weak. So, I do not deny anyone's sleep. If at any point you need to go to bed, feel free. Thank you for joining us in the meantime. With that being said, we are going to do 30-minute sprints. We're going to do 4 30-minute sprints. Um, if you have not joined me for one of my streams before, I like to put up writing prompts during the sprint. So our first writing prompt of the night says, there was a whole world outside. If they were willing to leave the safety of the cave they'd lived in for generations. Maybe I was inspired by the Croods, maybe I wasn't. That's our writing prompt for tonight, the first one of 4. If you want to write it, you can. Do not feel like you have to. 30 minutes on the clock, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Alright, that is time, everyone. Let us know how you did what you did in the comments. I managed to fix my documents, so now that they will open correctly on their individual devices as long as I closed them correctly on the previous device. So currently I have them open on the laptop. I need to make sure I close it on the laptop before I open it on the tablet. Otherwise I will fuck up all my shit again. Which I don't want to do. So now that that problem has been solved, my headache is starting to go away. We can get things done. I don't know what I'm going to get done, but I'll get something done on the next sprint. I don't know what. Your guess is as good as mine. So, with all that being said, let's see how you guys did. I remember the last comment I read was Kay saying sleep is for the weak. So Laura chimed in saying, ugh, do I make this character a secret crossdresser? I'm leaning towards yes. I am all for this. Uh, yeah. Okay, it says, looks like I might actually be here the entire stream. It's supposed to be thundering for another hour and a half or so. Oh, jeez, crikey. Yay for fixing docks. Yay! We like fixing docks. Uh, we like it when docks open correctly the first time, but the docks opened. There was no corruption. I just had to make sure all the files were synced correctly, and we were good to go. So, I am happy with that. I will take my wins where they land. So, I cannot complain too much. And I killed one mosquito, and now there's another one in here because my husband just came in from outside. Apparently, the mosquitoes are bad tonight. I don't know what's going on, and I do not appreciate it. But now I'm going to be like fighting mosquitoes. My life depends on it. Woo! Fun stuff. So, as far as what I can work on now that I have finished fixing my documents, um, there's a couple of things I can work on. What I should be working on is Sultry Solstices 7, because that's the one I need to finish by next Thursday. But I think I've already written like 3,000 words in it, and all I'm doing is editing it, so it won't take me that long to finish that up. You know what? I should probably just open that document and see what I'm working with it. See, Scrivener. 70. One of these days I need to redo a video about my file organization. Granted Existent, which is the seventh and final story in this series. Where's my word count at? It doesn't show me because it's going by old word count. Okay, cool. Got, yep, just under 3,000 words written already. So, I am not too terribly worried about it. So, we're going to get that done eventually. It's just not going to be tonight. The other things I can work on is I'm starting to plot out ideas of what I want to work on next because I don't really want to jump right into the next series in this universe. For those who are new or don't know, Sultry Solstices is the first of 7 series, all of which are short stories, in a universe called Sevendi Universe. And each series focuses on a different theme. So, like, the first series focuses on 7 sisters finding romance with supernatural creatures. The second one deals with like monsters under the bed, monsters in the closet, kind of supernatural creatures. The third one deals with cryptids. The fourth one deals with a magical circus where all the circus performers are shapeshifters. 5 is 5, 6, and 7. I get mixed up. Hold on. One is dragons, one is a coven of witches, and then one is royal bear shifters. So, the next one I'll be working on is the Monsters in the Closet, Monsters on the Bed series. And so, like, I could jump straight out of this series into that one, but I don't really want to. So, I've been, like, journaling the past few days and trying to figure out what I want to work on next. And I've had a lot of people suggest I should work on standalones. And I do have a standalone short story that I had sent to beta readers that I need to finish going through beta reader comments and stuff, and format that and get it ready for publication because I want that to come out in October. And then I have a writing prompt book I need to finish. But those are projects I know I will be working on and finishing in September, as well as I want to finish up the standalone I started for the 7 Day Book Challenge in June, and I'll be finishing that up for the September 7 Day Book Challenge. So I have lots of projects that I can work on, but I am ready to start drafting again. And most of the projects I can work on, other than the one for the 7 Day Book Challenge, are all editing projects because I've hit the point with the one that's coming out in October is called Cry Wolf Sunflower. Um, and Where was I going with that? Cry Wolf Sunflower just needs editing, and then the writing prompt book just needs editing, and they'll both be like ready to push out. So I'm ready to start drafting again, and I need to find a sweet spot where I'm balancing both drafting and editing, and I haven't quite hit that sweet spot yet. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna work on next. And I'm kind of debating stepping away from paranormal romance for a little bit and doing some contemporary stuff, even though I really have no business doing contemporary stuff at the moment when I've got so many more ideas for paranormal stuff. So, yay! Yay for fixing dogs, yay! Hey, let's count our blessings where we can get them. Exactly. Exactly. And Laura said, peasant possum shifters. I would love to write about a possum shifter or a raccoon shifter or um, any kind of like rodents because you don't see those often. I did find a series where the character was a possum, and now I cannot remember the series, but like it's a possum and a wolf. I think is the pairing, and then the next one is a raccoon and another creature. I can't remember which. Um, the possum gets accused of get moves. If I'm remembering the plot correctly, the possum shifter moves into a town, takes over her grandmother's bakery or something like that. It's like a cozy paranormal mystery. Um, but she takes over her grandmother or some family member's bakery. The other shifters in town know she's a shifter because like you can smell the shifterness, I guess. But they don't know what kind she is, and she's a newcomer, so they don't trust her. And then of course the dead body pops up somewhere close to her bakery, and all of the blame is put on her. And so she has to unwillingly join the chief of police and help solve this murder. And I think he's like the werewolf or something. I don't know. This is me trying to base it off of reading the description one time and going, I need to read that in the future. And I have no idea what the memory of the title is. And then I just remember saying that sometimes when I'm reading descriptions, I go ahead and see what the next book in the series is about, and that one is like the best friend of the possum, and it's a raccoon. So, yay! I'm here for all the rodent shifters. Uh, Roy won't stop licking my arm. I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. I'm in a different state. I can't help you. Roy says you taste good, and he wants a snack, and apparently you are one. Okay, says I put aside a series for a bit because of some brutally honest feedback where a beta reader edited instead of beta read and tore my MS apart without being asked to. My confidence is a little shaky. I am so sorry. That sucks so much. I think um, I have mixed feelings. I just started using beta readers again this year, late last year, beginning of this year. I don't remember which. For the longest time, I was like, I don't want to use beta readers. I will just get it edited and I'll go from there because a lot of times, at least in my experience in the past, I can't say as much this time because I am a little bit more grateful for the in-depth feedback this time, and it is closer. In my opinion, the beta reading I've been getting is of two mixed bags. Either I have someone who's strictly a beta reader and is just giving feedback, or I have someone who treats it more as an edit. And I appreciate both spectrums with the projects I've been sending to these particular people. However, in the past, when all I've been looking for is a beta read and not an edit, I have hit kind of the same as UK. where they were editing instead of beta reading, and um, it just felt like they. I was looking for feedback, not edits. I can't really describe it any differently than that. It sounds weird the way I'm saying it, but I hope you'll get what I mean. And it it's not that it shook my confidence. I've always had shaky confidence when my stories are concerned. So like that's not a problem no matter who reads my story. I'm gonna be like, oh god, they hate it, no matter what. They can tell me they love it, I'll still be like they secretly hate it and are just saying that to be nice to me. Like that's what my brain goes through every time, no matter if they're editing, beta reading, or whatever. It doesn't matter. So my confidence is shaken with every story I send out to someone. It's one of the reasons why I will never ever read any reviews, no matter if they exist or not, of my own work. I don't care what people say. I don't care if it's supposed to strengthen what my storytelling and stuff like that. No, thank you. It's not for me. I don't care if it's a good review or a bad review. I refuse to read any reviews of my own work. Um, I cannot mentally handle that, and I know myself well enough to know that I can't mentally handle that. It sucks to be in that position, though. It sucks so much. I have no advice. I hope you're able to return to that series, though, um, in the future, kind of thing. Uh, and I hope in the meantime you're finding other projects to work on that you love that are boosting your confidence, and that you find different beta readers who strengthen that confidence versus tear it down. But it sucks that you're in that position. It really does. Laura says I'm at 16,420 now. Awesome. Otter shifters, earthworm, tree, dandelion hair. Oh, I love the dandelion hair thing. That would be cool. Do you believe? Oh, don't you believe in magic? Okay, hold on. That sounds familiar. See, now I'm gonna go find this possum shifter story. I'm gonna have to. I would love that to be the name of the story, but that's not the name of the story. Let's see. Possum shifter romance. Maybe it'll pop up that way. Wait, I think you did find it because you said another title. I think that's the bakery name. That sounds really really familiar. Fake it till you make mate it by Sarah Spade is the book I'm thinking of. Fake it till you made it. I keep trying to say make it. Hedgehogs. Yeah, I would love to do a hedgehog story. Yes, that's it. That was this. That was the story. There's 3 books in the series. Play Dead, Stay Dead. Okay, so that is the raccoon one. And then the third one, which wasn't out at the time, there wasn't even a pre. Okay, it's not out yet. It's pre-ordered. Um, possum Possum shifter who seemed to be cursed. Yeah. Okay, that's the series. Hold on, let me share this link for anyone who's interested in reading about possums and raccoon shifters. That's the series. You're welcome, Kay. I really do hope you're able to work on some other stuff and get that confidence back. Laura says, doesn't the possum shifter story start with her waking up in the morgue after playing dead again? I have no idea how it starts. I just remember seeing an ad for it on TikTok, and I was like, ooh, let me go check that out. And I read the description. I was like, ooh, that sounds interesting. But I was like, I don't want that at the moment. And usually what happens is I will download a sample so that I can like return to books and be like, I had interest in this. I want to read it at a later date. And I did not for some reason. I don't know why. Whatever the reason is, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that was absolutely the story. Kay found it. Go Kay. Awesome. You were able to take what I was saying and go find it in like 2 seconds flat. I love it. So now I've got that story on my list again to like read in the future because I'm curious. I'm curious. There is another author that writes about interesting shifters. R.J. Blaine is the author, and there is a series that there's an ongoing series they write. It's basically a bunch of standalone novels all in the same universe, and each one is different from. There might be some cameo appearances, and there are three books in the series that are technically you have to read those three in order because it's got the same characters for those three stories. But otherwise, each of the books are in uh, are standalones in that particular series. I'm trying to remember the name of the series. Hold on. A magical romantic comedy with a body count is the name of the series. But she's written about like ferrets, ferret shifters. She's written about a swan shifter. She's written about an otter shifter, a platypus. The first one I read from her was Hoofing It. It's technically the second in the series, and it's got a llama. The three that I mentioned that are technically should be read in order deal with a cindercorn, which is a fire unicorn that eats napalm and spews out lava, and that is playing with fire. Where's the next one in that series? It's way down. Burn, baby, burn, and the flame game. Those three are technically the only three that have to be read in order. Otherwise, you can read. There's 22 books in this series now, I think. 24 books in that series now, and she's still writing it. Like, she'll continue writing those as long as she has ideas for them. And they're just a barrel full of fun. And like I said, they're each has different characters. Like, the platypus is the next one. I'm really looking forward to reading it. And then I've read the first of the three unicorn ones, the cindercorn ones. Let's see. There's a snake, the llama. I feel like there's others as well. There's a unicorn. There's a chameleon. And sometimes it's been as little as like someone suggesting that, hey, what if a story was about this kind of animal, and that's the reason she wrote it. Like, I think that's how the platypus one came to be. She was like, one of her readers was like, it'd be cool if someone would write about a platypus, and she was like, done. So, I just, I they're just a lot of fun to read when I'm, especially like when I'm in a slump because they're quick, easy reads. Um, so yeah. There's a snake, mushroom, 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 mushroom. Now I want to write a. Now I want to write a shifter story with a badger and a snake, and the badger has to have mushroom tattoos, or the snake has to have mushroom tattoos, or they both can get matching mushroom tattoos. Dang it! I don't need any more story ideas. No. Okay. And their wedding song has to be Badger Badger. Okay. We've chit chatted for a while. Let's do another sprint before I get more story ideas. And when we come back from the chat, I'll tell about why this is such a bad thing. Oh, okay, so here we go. Here is our second prompt for our second sprint. It says, a large cat blinked up at them before flicking its tail in the air and opening a third eye between the other two. That is our writing prompt. You can use it if you want to. You do not have to. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. That is time, everyone. Let us know how you did, what you did in the comments. Give me just a second. Looking up something. Okay, I can come back to that in a little bit. How did y'all do? I did a lot of staring into space actually, and I was looking through file folders. Um, I have to do a little bit of drawing, and the last thing I was doing was looking up some cover art stuff. Because one of the things I'm doing for my short stories currently is that I am designing the covers, and because that's really all I know how to do, I've been doing like silhouette designs. Eventually, I would like to do something a little fancier, but I will take what I can get for now. That being said, there are other projects that are like novels and stuff where I will definitely hire out artists for them, and eventually I will hire artists for the short stories too. It's just that until I start bringing some money in, I can't afford to hire an artist who's going to charge 200 plus per cover, especially since like I want custom character artwork for like some of the short stories because of the monsters involved that are like not usually found in stock art imagery. But because of that kind of stuff, I'm gonna have to get like custom art, and custom art can cost anywhere from $200 to $1,200. So depending on the artist and like how detailed you want and stuff like that. So I can't afford that for 49 short stories. So I've been making my own covers for now. Eventually, my goal is to get custom art for all of the short stories. Like that is the dream. And I do have a cover. I do have an artist I've been looking at. I need to send them an email because right now I can afford, if I budget correctly, I can actually afford at the prices that I'm seeing. I do need to confirm some pricing to make sure I'm not calculating wrong. But I can afford doing like one a month of their artwork if they're open to commissions and they're willing to do a series and they're willing to do a bunch of supernatural creatures of various types based on very brief descriptions. So I'm really excited about that. But I've also been looking at stuff for other projects as well. Because one of the things that I talked to JC about this last night, and the and I mentioned this in right before we went on that last sprint. I don't need any more story ideas. I do not need any more story ideas. But while I was at the laundromat yesterday, I came up with another story idea. So for the 7 Day Book Challenge last June, or this past June, I wrote on a standalone story that I already have a cover for. The cover does need to be finalized, but it's called Just One Bite. It's a vampire romance featuring a woman who has past trauma with vampires, and so she hates vampires. And her fated mate is the vampire king, and he is trying to convince her to fall in love with him. That's the whole premise of the story. It's great. It's fantastic. Love it. Been having a blast writing it during that week. I will be finishing it in September for the 7 Day Book Challenge in September. Love it. However, I was like, randomly, while doing stuff at the laundromat yesterday, the another title came in my head, and the title was Just One Sip. And I was like, no, I don't need another story idea, and I don't need to be turning a standalone into a series. But now I can't get that title out of my head. I really like the title Just One Sip to go along with the title of Just One Bite. And there is a couple mentioned in Just One Bite that I'm like, I could write a novella with their love story. I could. So, like, the idea is percolating, but I hate it so much because I do not need any more story ideas. I have way too many. Way too many. I will never be able to write all the story ideas. So that's my predicament at the moment, and I've been wasting my time looking at cover art designs and websites and stuff during this past sprint when I should be writing, and getting stories done so I can write all of the ideas that I have. But let's see how you guys been doing. Speaking of JC joined us during that sprint. Hi, JC. Hello, hello. Kay said the storm finally stopped and he's no longer a lapdog. Meds are starting to kick in. Thanks for keeping me company tight. Have a good one. And thanks for the pep talk. Absolutely, Kay. I hope you get some sleep. You deserve it. And you have a lovely day. Let's do. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Kate decided to stick around for the break. Oh, thank you. Get to sleep though. I love you. Go to bed. Go get some sleep while you can before the lapdog becomes a lapdog again, or before the non-lapdog becomes a lapdog again. No regrets for story ideas. All the regrets. But that's why I'm like, no, I don't need any more story ideas. That being said, we were talking about like shifters earlier, and the fact that I want to write more like I want to write about like possum shifters and rodent shifters and stuff like that. And there is a series that I have, another universe, which features shifters that are like the town they live in. The humans that live in that town know the shifters exist, but everyone out like outside the town does not know they exist. Um, each of those is a paranormal romance novella, and each features a different type of shifter. So, like the first one is, of course, wolves, because that was my like standard thing. A sibling of the wolf shifter is a bear shifter. So the second story is about a bear shifter. The third one is now I'm second guessing stuff. Hold on, let me go look. Project master list. Where is it? Willow Creek. Okay, Willow Creek was the name of the town. And each of the stories was like a pun. So like the first one deals with wolves. The first one was How's It Hanging? The second one was bears. Bear in mind. Lion to Everyone is about a lion shifter. Quit Horsing Around is horses. What the Fox is a fox shifter, and Snicks So Much was a snake shifter. So that is a series where, like, if I do figure out a good pun for a type of rodent, I would love to. That is a series that I could always continue adding to because of the fact that the humans in that town know about the shifters, and the shifters are all kinds of critters. So, like, that could be a forever ongoing series, and I could just continue adding more as I think of animal puns. So, if you've got a good animal pun for me that deals with a rodent, I will happily add a rodent related shifter story. Whether that is a possum, a raccoon, it could be a wombat for all I care. I do not care. I would love to write about a capybara because capybaras are like my youngest favorite critter right now. Um, she's going through this phase where the meme song came out about capybaras, and now she's obsessed with capybaras. Her best friend gave her like this giant stuffy of a capybara. So like, I'm here for capybara shifters. Oh, so if anyone can think of a pun, I will be gladly adding a rodent shifter story to that series any day of the week, no matter if I need more story ideas or not. Because I could shift some story ideas around, like the plots of story ideas, and make it work for another story. That's the fun thing about having all the story ideas is I could like take a title from one story idea and like be like, yeah, that plot's not going to work for me. I don't want to write it, and be like, oh, but I do want to write this one, and stick them together. Kay says, I will. I can barely keep my eyes open, but yeah, love you too. Y'all have a good night. Actually, heading out this time. Get some rest yourself. Absolutely, Kay. Thank you for joining us. You get some sleep, and hopefully the storms pass for a little while so you can actually get some good sleep. So, have a good night. Bye. Hi, Ogre. What's up? What's up, Bubs? What's up, Bubs? But yeah, okay. So, that being said, break is over. Or at least according to Nixie, who's slow blinking at me every once in a while. Break is over. We've been talking about shenanigan. I'm going to continue going to look at covers I have no need to be looking at when I don't have stories for them yet. And yeah, we're going to get back to writing. Here is our third prompt for our third sprint, and it says, the gods hadn't answered anyone's prayers in thousands of years until the day a small child lost its mother to war and became a god herself. And it's up to you to decide whether it is the child or the mother of the child who became a god. If you want to write that prompt, feel free to. Do not feel like you are obligated to, though. And we're going to start this next sprint in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, that's time, everyone. Let me know how you did what you did in the comments section. I managed to journal a little bit. I'm writing down a list of stories that just need editing or rewriting, so that I can find that balance I want of drafting and editing, so that I always have one drafting project and one editing project at one time, basically, which is what I used to do, and I need to get back into that habit. So I'm writing down the ones that just need either a rewrite or edit, and then they'll be ready for publication or betas, whichever one comes first. And then I will. I already have a plenty list of stories that need drafted, so I'm not worried about that. But I do want to find that balance of editing and drafting, so I am going to start working on that. So that's what I was working on during that sprint. How about you guys? Let's see what you guys are working on in the comments. Let me know. Um, Goodness gracious. One of the other things I was doing was I finished checking out that site that I started looking at with cover art design. Again, I have no reason to be looking at cover art design when I've got plenty of stories I already have covers for, because I went through a phase where for like 2 or 3 years in a row, if there was a pre-made cover that I thought of a story idea for, I went ahead and bought the cover. And like half of those stories aren't written yet. So that's where my focus really needs to be, is on those stories, the ones I already have covers for. So I can just go to those cover artists and be like, hey, can you update this? And here is the page count if I want a paperback. Because a lot of them, what I did is when I purchased the ebook cover, I went ahead and purchased the paperback cover at the same time. So that when I came to publishing the stories, I would just be like, hey, here's the blurb, here's the page count, here's the information you need. Can I have the ebook cover updated and the paperback cover with it? So I did a lot of that for like 3 years straight. I have 20 something covers, and I just need to write the books for them. And that's not even including the short stories I've been writing where I've been creating the covers for those. That's just the ones where like I personally purchased the covers for different stories. And that's honestly where my focus needs to be. My focus needs to be on stories I already have covers for, because those will be the easiest and fastest for me to get out, especially if they're ones like I've already drafted them. I just need to edit them. So that's where my focus needs to be. Is that where it's at? Absolutely not, because why would it be there? Why would I be that smart? That's just way too intelligent. You guys are putting too much faith in my abilities. So yeah. So I'm looking at covers that I don't need to be looking at. There is one cover artist that I really, really want to work with. However, it's gonna be a long time before I can afford their work. Let's see if I still have a link to their website. Actually, there's two cover artists, and both of them are expensive, and both of them have really good designs that sell really well. So I know that if I use either of these artists, my books will sell. Like guaranteed, I will make my money back. I just have to have that money back up front, because both of them start at. Let's see if I can find the prices. I don't know if either one has prices on their site anymore. Product packages. That's for a trilogy. So with this one cover designer, again, they're both really expensive, but they're both really worth it. And they both have worked both with indie authors and various different traditional publishers. So their services are like fully booked for like the next 2 years, kind of thing. So when I finally do get a chance to work with them, I will be on a wait list. The first of the two is the cheaper, and the probably the package I would get is the ebook and paperback package if I wasn't doing short story stuff. And their ebook and paperback package is $575. Again, expensive but worth it. And then the other cover artist I would love to work with, um, they have two ebook ones. One is with like no characters on it. One was with characters on it. The cheaper of the two is the one with no characters on it, and that is $1,199 for a cover. Ebook alone, you have to pay more for to add on a paperback design is $150. So yeah, they're expensive, and I know they're expensive, but like their work sells, and it's so fucking pretty. It would be so worth it. I'm gonna go ahead and drop both cover artists in the description. Not description, the chat. I can't. What was? Shit. I love both their artwork. And again, they've both worked with both indie and trad publishing companies. And their work is worth it. Oh, I think I. Oh, I sent the wrong link. That's okay. Someday I will have a cover from either or both of these artists. I would love to have a cover from either or both of these artists. And I've met both of them too. When I went to Vegas for a convention, one of them had been a cover artist for 2, maybe 3 years at that point. Rebecca had been a cover artist for 2 or 3 years at that point. And Christian was just getting started. He was a very, very baby artist. In fact, he was at the convention to network to learn more. And since then, that was in 2018. That's now been that's been 8 years. Like, he is phenomenal at what he does now. And it's been grand. I love seeing both their work whenever it comes across my feed. Um, but again, both of them are so far booked that I'm pretty certain. I know Rebecca has a 2 year waiting list on hers. If you are a new client, so like I would be on a 2 year waiting list where she's got other artists, authors she works with that the moment they're like, "Hey, can you make me?" She's like on it because she's got an established relationship with them. Christian's a little bit different story. I don't remember how far out he's. I know he's booked for the rest of this year, and I think he's booked for next year as well. Uh, so, but someday I will have a cover by one or both of those artists. Preferably, the one I really want to work with is Rebecca, um, because of the fact that her covers are more of my style and my genre. Both of them do covers in my genre, but Rebecca's work is more closer to the style I want for my covers, whereas Christian's is what sells, but not my favorite as far as like what I want on my covers. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, what about you guys? Do you guys have artists you guys work with or want to work with, like dreams? I'm not gonna lie, dream celebrity artists. If they were still doing artwork and I could still get artwork from them for covers, the person I really, really, 100% would want to work with is the person who does the covers, and I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. He does the covers for the Mercy Thompson books. For those who don't know, Mercy Thompson is written by Patricia Briggs. It's a urban fantasy, coyote shifter, werewolf, paranormal romance, and it's God, what is his name? Mercy Thompson cover artist. Maybe I can find out who it is. Dan DeSantos. Dan DeSantos does the cover art for the Mercy Thompson books. And that art style is what I want. If I could have the art style I want for all of my books, that that is the art style I want. I like the layout, I like the font, I like the illustrations. It is absolutely 100% beautiful. And if I could afford Dan's work, I absolutely would hire Dan. But again, Dan's artwork before typography, before anything else, starts in like the thousands. So it's gonna be a long time coming if ever I work with them. But that would be like dream goals. Dan is who I would want to work with as far as like covers go. I miss the covers of like 80s sci-fi fantasy. Um, I was at an estate sale earlier today, and I picked up a bunch of sci-fi novels and just looking at a bunch of the artwork style of the 80s and like 70s 80s art style that was on covers back then. I miss that art style. And I had to think about what it was about the art style that I like. And I like how it all feels like a painting, because that's exactly what it was. Um, Artwork back then was oil paintings that were then photographed and typography was added on top of. Sometimes the typography was made into the artwork itself, but a lot of these artists who did cover art design back then sold the artwork by itself without the typography as prints. Um, or would put them. I have an art book collection I cannot show online because it is a erotic fantasy, and there's lots of naked people. But it's all like artwork from that. A lot of it was used as like cover design at one point or another for different books, and the artist put them into a collection of artwork. And I miss that style of artwork. My copy of, I think it's Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey, the art style that was used for like Anne McCaffrey's work. The I'm trying to think of a sci-fi author that I know of off the top of my head that had a lot of like oil paintings for their artwork. Some of the original covers for uh, one of my favorite authors is Mercedes Lackey. I love the Valdemar series, and that art style is, I think, oil paintings as well. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's oil paintings as well. And then my other favorite thing about the Mercedes Lackey books, especially with earlier volumes of Valdemar books, is that Larry Dixon, her husband, did line artwork inside the book. And I am not gonna lie, I wish I had a friend who did line art, because it would be so cool to include light art designs inside my books. Oh my god, it would be so cool. I would love it. I wish I was talented enough to do line art, because I would put line art. I would hire someone else to do oil painting covers, and I just slap some typography. Slap it. I would put on some typography to make it look prettier and make it a book cover, and then I would do like line art inside. I think that would be so cool. That is like one of my favorite things about fantasy books. That is no longer in a lot of the fantasy books. Some of the we're getting back to them. We're getting back to that. With all these special editions have custom illustrations inside and sprayed edges and stuff like that. So we're slowly like coming back around to the interior artwork, which I am in love with. But there is something about line art with pencil shading or ink shading. I think a lot of it was pen and ink. That is just different from the art styles we're seeing now inside of interior artwork, which is all digital design. And I'm not knocking digital design; it's amazing. I love it. And that's what a lot of the covers are these days, is digital design. But there is something more hands-on and personal about the oil painting covers and the interior pen ink or pencil scanned line art that used to be in a lot of the fantasy that I grew up with. And it's just, that's what I want to come back. We talk about every once in a while, there's like talk of fads coming back and like art styles coming back and typography styles coming back and cover design coming back. That is what I want to come back. I want the oil painting covers with typography put over top and line art interior artwork to come back. I want it to make a comeback. A lot of my books are packed up right now, so I can't even show the ones I'm thinking of in my head because I can't access them. But I still have some of the older sci-fi and fantasy books. It was mostly fantasy that I can remember. Sci-fi had a lot of I remember a lot of spaceships and a lot of like military looking, militia looking armor and stuff. But there's just something different about the art style of covers now versus the art style of covers then. And I miss the covers then. I really do. And I want them to make a comeback so badly. So badly. Especially the line art interior artwork. That would be great. If you know anyone who does interior line art, let me know, because I am willing to find them and be like, hey, I need some interior artwork. Here's the ideas. Or here's characters. Come up with your own ideas based on what you think is happening. That would be even better. Because that was the best part of some of Larry Dixon's artwork inside the Valdemar books that I've read, is that um, it was just his ideas of what he thought different characters would look like. So like my favorite images were always of the companions, which were like horse, which was like spirits trapped in horse white horse form. And then there was the griffins. Oh my god, the pictures of griffins was amazing. Loved it so much. So I don't know. I have lots of feelings towards artwork these days, especially with more and more people diving onto the AI train. Um, and if you didn't know, I'm fully against AI. But like even my Kindle reader is like suggesting books with AI covers. Like half of my feed right now, and I don't know why it popped up, but half of my Amazon Kindle feed, the covers are blatantly AI, and I'm just like, I have no desire to read these, and I don't know how what I did to make it so that they show up in the first place. One, and B, how to get it so that because I don't rate anything. As I read it, I just read and move on. At least I don't rate anything on the Kindle app. I have my own reading system that I use where I have a rating and stuff, but it's outside of like any of the systems that are set up like Goodreads or Amazon or anything like that. And I don't know how to make it so it stops suggesting stuff with AI covers. So, but yeah, with the rise of all that happening, I wish we could go back to more traditional mediums, the oil paintings, the line art, um, photography. God, bring back photography if nothing else. So yeah, I don't know. I have lots of feelings, but that being said, Nixie is blinking at us a while. I missed our cutoff before the timer started, so let's go ahead and do our fourth and final sprint of the night. 30 minutes on the clock. Here's our final prompt for the night. It says, there wasn't anything remarkable about the foal at first, until it stumbled unsteadily to its feet, and a pair of wings slumped down from its withers. That is our prompt. You can use it if you want to. You do not have to. And we're going to start the sprint in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, that is time, everyone. On our last sprint, how'd you do? What'd you do? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and stop this timer, close it up because we are done. That was our last sprint. I need to go to bed soon. My husband has work in the morning. I gotta get up with him. And then I am probably going to try to make tomorrow either a 5 or 10K day. I'm going to aim for 5. I'd love to hit 10. That's going to be my goal because I want to work on finishing up editing most, if not all, of Granite Existence, which is the last of the Sultry Solstices series. I I think I could do it. I think I can do it. I the last time I did like an all day writing day when there was no one home with me, which is going to be the case tomorrow. I did manage to. I was only aiming for like 5K, and I managed like almost 11K while editing. So that is my goal tomorrow. And then I also want to finish journaling. And what I'm trying to do is I have a 5 year planner, and the 5 year planner is to plan out my planning schedule, my publishing schedule up until the year basically the beginning of 2030, because I think it's from 2025 to 2029 is my planner, and then the next 5 year planner I get will be from 2030 to 2034. Uh, because what I would like to do essentially in the end, I would like to get to the point where everything I write one year is what I publish the next year. So like everything I write in 2026 gets published in 2027. Everything that gets written in 2027 will get published in 2028. That is my eventual goal. I am not there yet. I am still playing catch up because, like I mentioned, I am editing this final story that comes out the 15th of September. So like I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. That is my eventual goal: is to get to the point where like I am writing stuff that's going to be published the year ahead, especially where like novels and novellas are concerned. And I'm trying to get to the point where I have a healthy balance of short stories and novels and novellas coming out because I have way too many story ideas not to be doing that. And I do. I don't necessarily want to make this like my only job, but I do want this to be a full time job. I will probably make this a full time job and work a part time job for like insurance purposes, or to have that steady paycheck coming in. But um, I would like to start making some income from my stories. Like that would be nice. Am I yet? Absolutely not. I'm not advertising other than here on YouTube. I'm not present on social media. I'm not even really present here on YouTube anymore the way I used to be because I used to be consistently putting out videos and vlogs. And I mentioned I was going to go on hiatus this month, except for these streams, so that I could film and catch up for September through the rest of the year. And guess what? I have not done. I have not done any filming or any vlogging or anything. I have not felt like picking up a camera at all. Um, and I don't regret it. Like I don't have a problem with not picking up a camera. What I might have to do, because I do have lots of video ideas, um, I might just have to either turn those video ideas into like blog posts and do like video recordings. I know there's a couple people here on YouTube that do like voiceover recordings with like images and stuff. Um, I might have to do something like that. I don't know what the future holds as far as like videos and vlogs go, but like I had every intention of starting to vlog stuff again. I had every intention of starting to film again, and I just haven't. Now, part of it's just because I haven't felt like filming and stuff. Part of it's because I'm still getting used to this new schedule. Like I said at the beginning of my stream, this is the first full week I'm on night audit, so like I'm still getting used to a sleep schedule that's consistent. I'm still getting used to. The girls go back to school next week, so we did a lot of last minute finalization of like school stuff. We had to do school pictures, we had to get their class schedules, we had to do walkthroughs of classrooms and stuff like that. And that was all this week as well. So like next week they start school on Wednesday, and so then I'll be getting used to that sleep schedule too. Um, so it's a matter of like work and revolving sleep schedules and the fact that I've been working on one series consistently for the past 8 months. Like it's almost September now. We're like only a few days away from September, and uh, I'm still working on the same series I was working on at the beginning of the year, and I haven't really taken a break from it other than to like randomly work on other projects here and there. So a lot of my mojo, as far as like wanting to film, wanting to vlog, and all that stuff, might come back when I complete the series. It might come back when the girls are back at school. It might come back when I have settled into a schedule that is actually working for me, as far as like sleep schedule, writing schedule, stuff like that. I don't know. Um, all I know is that at this moment, I have not filmed any videos. I had every intention of filming like four this month, and I haven't filmed any. I had every intention of vlogging, and I haven't picked up the camera to vlog. Um, I'm just plugging away. Basically, my life has been eat, sleep, write, publish. That's it. That's been my life. So, work, publish, sorry. Work, publish. Uh, and I just, it's just one of those seasons. Eventually, I'll get settled into this work schedule. I'll get settled into the fact that the girls are back in school. I'll get settled back into the idea of doing all these things uh, after school for like activities and stuff for the kids. Though they're going to be doing a lot less activities this year than they have done previous years. We're not doing 4-H this year at all. We're doing youngest does want to do archery, um, but there's going to be a lot more like packing in our future because we are officially moving in June of 2027. I will be taking a hiatus in December of this year and June and December of next year. Like June and December are going to be my two hiatus months going forward, and hopefully it will only last a month this time because in June they their school year ends in June, and like the week after their school year ends, we're moving. So um, there's that. And so, like between now and then, there's gonna be a lot of packing, and a lot of stuff is gonna get removed, so we can start figuring out what size U-Haul we need. So we can start like plotting how much. We've got some of it set aside already because we were originally planning on moving this year, and then just things happened that prevented us from it, including gas jumping up to like $5 a gallon from like $3 a gallon. And while it's come down, it has not come down less than four. It's been at four since it came down. So that is something we didn't factor in when we were trying to save up money for our move originally. And then gas jumped $2 this year, and when we calculated, we just did not have the funds to move this year. Especially since the truck still needed some work done on it before it can make a 3,000-mile drive across country. So that's why we didn't move this year. But because we have been saving that money and setting it aside, we have about half the funds we would need to move if we wait until June and save up more between now and then still have like a good cushion for a couple of months while we look for jobs if we don't already have some when we move. So that's the idea. And again, maybe after I'm finished with Sultry Solstices and the whole series is published, I will be ready to work on other things, and I'll be ready to vlog, and I'll be ready to film videos. We'll see. I don't know. But for now, we're just going to stick with live streams. It's fine. I've enjoyed spending time with you guys. For those who are here, still around, it's been great. I hope you guys got lots of productivity done, whatever it is you were working on. And yeah, that's going to be all for me. For those who are just joining us now and don't know who I am, my name is Skye. I am a fantasy author who typically writes short paranormal romance stories under the name Kota Hegyes. Sultry Solstices is the first short story series I have out. It is available at that QR code in the corner. Links are also in the description if you would want to check them out. And then I write longer works, novels, and novellas that are of all fantasy subgenres under the name SD Hegyes. So that is what I've been working on. I'll be finishing Sultry Solstices. I have less than a month. I have less than a month to finish the final two stories. 6 is with beta readers. I should get that back sometime next week. And then 7, I am finishing final edits of, so I can send that out to beta readers. Hopefully, I would hope to send it out tomorrow, honestly, though I have another week left, technically. Um, and then once I have all that done, I can finalize those final 2 books in the series, and I'll be ready to be done and published and move on to the next project, whatever that's going to be. Because I've been journaling a lot lately about what I wanted to work on, but I haven't made any like final decisions yet, except for like a couple that are like already pre-scheduled. So beyond that, I am open to basically anything. And yeah, maybe after I complete that series, I'll be ready to do more stuff. Um, But yeah, in the meantime, I'll be here next Saturday for another live stream, and I will see you all then. Talk to you guys later. Bye, Dragons.